All right, baby, here we go. Dr. Steve and Dr. Drew Henderson, my man, baby. How you doing? Welcome, Wake
I'm
Up Mule.
good, man. I am near perfect, right? That's what we learned at Dynamic Essentials.
I
How you
love what
doing? Near perfect.
near perfect, and that's a whole topic in and of its own. Why the heck do we say that? But
Yep.
you dropped a bomb on me the other day. Was that yesterday?
I guess
And
so. Yep.
you were obviously doing some biblical studies there, but it's a cool point that I figured. I did some writing today, and I ran some thoughts through the computer. And so to set the stage, strength is often associated with the lion. So people talk about being a lion, but
Hmm.
true leadership is found in the shepherd, is what
Yep.
came across. So we want to share the inspiration from studying David and his battle with Goliath and pose the question, are we called to be lions or are we called to be shepherds? This is a tough one for me, man, because I like the idea of being a lion, bro. A lion's
I
big
do
and
too.
badass.
I do too. And even I remember probably 12, 15 years ago at DE, we were in the back of the room, everybody's kids playing. And one of us was like, we're just like the old lions looking around at the cubs playing so
Yeah.
nobody would mess with them. If some hyenas come up, we're going to
Yeah.
pounce on them.
Those hyenas are nuts, man. You see those? I think you just
Oh,
sent me a
dude.
video of a hyena attacking was attacking a lion?
Yeah. And then here comes all the other
Then the
lion
pack
buddies.
jumped
And
in.
yeah, and that was like Friday or Saturday before, this about David on Sunday because preacher was preaching about the life of David. And I'm like, that's crazy where he would take care of the lion. He would kill the lions when they come
Yeah,
up to the sheep,
yeah.
and that
The
was
shepherd
preparing him
protecting
for
his
that battle
protecting the
with
flock.
Goliath. Yeah.
You turned me on to it, that picture of David in the lion's den, right?
Hmm. Yeah. And then
And
you sent me that big picture of that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got it behind my desk.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I have that in my dude room in Florida, and it's where I adjust everybody. So every now and then people come in and they're looking at it and they're like, "What is that?" And it's such an inspiring thing, which maybe we'll get into too. But so what's the deal that you're picking up on with the deal with the Lions, and are we supposed to be shepherds, or like how can we cross reference all this?
And I think that's the thing. Like, are we called to be lions or are we called to be shepherds? Because lions, they don't really protect anything. They just go devour. They are the king of the jungle, king of the Sahara. They're not protecting anything. But then here's the shepherd, even like David, you know, um, he he went to the valley there where Goliath was, and he even made sure somebody was looking after his sheep. He made sure, like, hey, I'm gonna go over here where this giant is. Can you watch my sheep a minute? He still didn't abandon the sheep.
You had someone looking over it.
Yeah. And he's I don't know. I I wrote down some stuff and knew what we was going to talk about. The lion's strength is symbol of dominance, pride, and power. Represents those who seek control, personal gain, and self-preservation. The shepherd is a protector and warrior who defends against the lion, leads with responsibility, discipline, selflessness, lasting purpose,
Mm.
faces danger not for personal gain, but to guard other people. And David was willing to fight Goliath because he had already faced the lions protecting his flock,
Right,
you
right.
know. And that came through on the computer too. It just, you know, I think we're shepherding this principle.
The principle of chiropractic,
Yeah.
100%.
You know,
You know,
we're shepherding that.
I saw we had a situation here at the office where an old patient of mine, I took care of her as a little girl, and now she's got a big girl job. She works for a big company, and they've got a corporate wellness thing set up where they've got physical therapists. It's a huge, huge, huge company, international, or probably at least huge nationally. And so they have a chiropractor there, and she went in to see this chiropractor, No x-rays, no exam, no Titron scan, nothing. Laid her down, manipulated her,
Mm-hmm.
and she went deaf.
Okay.
So her father was, whoa, rushed her here, x-rays, etc. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
taking care of her. But we called the young girl up. One of our docs, our associate doc here, Alex, called up this person, and we were actually in our doctor's meeting. So he was talking to her, had her on speakerphone, and man, what a sweet little kid. Went to school, obviously got hired by this company to go there and just work. Um, she doesn't know what she doesn't know. Like I could hear her little voice. She's new, a little bit out of school. Um, we asked about x-rays and doing this and upper cervical work. Do you know how to toggle? No, I don't. That's I don't. I try to stay away from that because I don't specialize in it. So he offered for her to come in and learn from us. We're like, we'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the flock, right? I mean, this little
Yeah.
little baby girl, I mean, doesn't know what she doesn't know, right? And she's in good hands because we're going to take care of the situation and this little girl's going to get better and everything will be all right.
Mm-hmm.
But, I said to these guys, I said, we got to help situations like that. We got to help teach this girl how to do this the right way, or there could
Yeah.
be problems.
Yeah. And we're trying to take care of this the best we can and take care of other people so we can have generations of chiropractors coming up. But if
It's
they don't
important.
know, bro, they don't
It's
know, like you
important.
said.
It's
Yeah.
important. I mean, and it's chiropractic has to be as specific as you possibly could do it. I mean, I get doing a mission trip going overseas. I've done it, but you're not around the people for weeks and weeks and years taking care of them.
Yeah.
But when you think about the flock and what the point that you're bringing here is, and this is what DE has always been to me, is getting like-minded people together and then a mentorship and a tribe of people that are at a higher level, which means they're not better than you. We don't think we're better than you, but you have more experience and knowledge to grow off of. Like today, we were talking about, because we're putting the schedule together for DE, Joe Galen speaking.
Yeah. He's
And
awesome.
that guy's been practicing forever. Like
And
I
he's a
learned,
quiet giant.
he's a giant, man, one of my favorite.
Love
But
Joe.
so it's such a valid point. I mean, my ego likes the lion better, bro. But you really got me like proliferating over this and thinking about it like that Shepard, because it's such a mild, which is you. You're that mild,
Mhm.
humble dude. But I also know, you in your Jeep, you got a gun right there up on your dashboard. You're no pushover.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it was
It's
like Tim
yeah,
Langley. You gave Tim Langley a hug and you wrapped your arms around him, and he had a gun in his
you
back
felt
pocket.
that peace. Yep. Yeah, you felt it back there,
You knew, you know.
you know. And but we're doing something that's so important and so vital, and it's important to get it right. I was talking to a kid the other day that's in school, and I wish I was back in school so I would know everything.
Yeah,
Like got it figured out, bro.
right.
Like, but they don't. That's the key. Like
No.
we think we got it figured out, just like you always said, until Mike Tyson hits us with a left hook.
Yeah, we're
Then
all
what?
tough till we all get smacked in the mouth. Well,
Then
I
what's gonna
see it,
happen?
and I see it all the time, especially on social media. It breaks my heart. And you got, people that were standing with us at DE, and they were, fired up and principled, and then they end up working somewhere else. And next thing you know, they're doing other things that aren't chiropractic, and essentially they're just selling their soul to work for corporate.
Hmm.
And they know what they feel when they put their head down, but what does that do to the profession overall?
Yeah,
You're diluting the principle,
yeah. I won't ever sell out. I know that much.
right?
And sell out, I mean like build things that are not um, involved with the detection and correction of the vertebral subluxation.
Right,
I mean, we don't bill anything anyway. We're all cash. We don't
right.
deal with any insurance. But You want to do an exam, that's cool. You want to bill for x-rays, that's cool. You need to bill for that adjustment. But there's no neuromuscular re-education because you're sitting on those porcupine things in a chair that you're going to
Right.
bill for 25 bucks.
So when you think about the shepherd, I guess for me personally, I could come across more of a lion because I'm a big mouth, right?
Hmm.
And I could come across aggressive, but that's just my nature, being a New Yorker. But I think I'm a pretty loving guy in the big scheme of things. But what has me thinking here was the coming from the standard of the shepherd mindset and maybe coming across a little gentler and is also a way, a great way.
Yeah, and there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat.
True.
Like it doesn't mean that my way's right. It doesn't mean that your way's wrong or right. It's just everybody's different. And as long as you're sticking to the truth and the principle, how you convey that is totally okay.
Yeah.
You
One of the
know?
big things we're in the middle of this program, you and I were talking about it before, the Forge.
Hmm.
And it's the biggest thing to guide people towards is what's their purpose? Creating a purpose statement,
Yeah.
which is a lot of fun because a purpose statement's typically 1 to 2 sentences. And in the beginning, people are writing 2 paragraphs. And a purpose
Yeah.
statement's got to be something that you can roll off the tip of your tongue. It defines your purpose and your why you're getting out of bed every day. And how many people in life have that for themselves?
I don't think many do. Dr. Claudia, she asks them a lot. I really don't. But she like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, what's your purpose?
Yeah.
And nobody knows. Even like 50-year-olds, they're like, I don't really know. I'm just going through the motions, kind of.
Why is that though? Why do you think that happens?
I don't know. I think maybe they've not had good people around them, and not, I don't mean bad people, but not people that elevated, like you can do this if you want to. You can be that doctor, you can be the accountant, you can be the missionary, whatever that is. That encouragement to say, yeah, you can go do that. Like you can kick butt at that. Like, go do
Yeah.
that. I'm going to be with you if you do that.
Yep. Yep.
Because I think more people are alone than we realize.
Yeah. I definitely think so. I mean, I just had a closing conversation with a patient, going through a pretty tough time, went through a tough divorce, and now he's got a girlfriend. And it's that moment of, you get a girlfriend and there's going to be tough times. But I also said, because he's not young, I said, you don't want to die alone and old. Like, you need a companion, make it work.
Mm.
Like, there's
Yeah.
things in your life, the old you that ended up divorced that you could fix. It's not all your ex-wife's fault, but don't
Mm.
bring that to the table in this new relationship.
Yeah.
And he goes, no one's ever said that to me before. I'm like, who are you hanging out with?
Right.
Right? I mean, don't
Yeah.
reproduce it because, I told him, I essentially saw my father die alone. That's no way to die.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
need love, you need companionship, you need camaraderie and someone to talk to and hang out with. And it was a pretty interesting conversation after an adjustment, you know?
But those are real conversations.
Yeah.
Those are real conversations. And today I went in Walgreens. I had to get some hair product. As I was out, it was just frizzed up. So I went in Walgreens, got some hair product, and checking out. And the little girl said to us, she was probably, I don't know, 25, 28. You could just see like years of bad choices in her face, though, you know. And she said something like, "Hey, like and we don't know her. She just said it. It's like I'm however many weeks in recovery now. Like I'm recovering." And we're like,
Awesome.
"Oh, that's awesome. That's so good." And then later we were talking that we're not any better than that. Like that could be us if
Right.
we were around the wrong people. We don't have our crap together. It may not be a methamphetamine addiction, but it could be not being able to say no. It could be um, addiction to relationships, work, uh, church. Like church can be an addiction. Not not worshiping the Lord, but just the church. There's tons of addictions that we can have. And just because methamphetamine abuse is more noticeable on the outside, that doesn't mean that it's any better or worse than addictions that we all have. None of us got our crap together. But I'm
Right.
glad that we have people close to us that will call us out on our BS.
Now, who's more approachable, a lion or a shepherd?
Oh, shoot, man, a shepherd, right? But
Yeah.
people intimidated by you.
Yeah. And I think that's something that I kind of, in my reflection from your text messages, the past couple of days has me thinking about that. I had a conversation with an interesting person the other day, but you think about the perception, are people afraid to approach because they don't want to get bit or they can't handle the truth because if that's what you're known for. But if you could deliver it in a more loving, nurturing way, or more people are going to be more approachable and be able to increase the tribe of people that you're trying to reach.
But then it's like a catch 22. Like you don't want to change who you are either. If
Yeah,
that's who you are, shoot, that's who you are.
that's how
You
it
know,
is.
if when Kirk Gibson, where they found the tar way up on his bat and he went ballistic when he was batting,
George Brett. That was
catches
George Brett.
George Brett, yeah, whoever I said,
Yeah. Oh, he
yeah,
went
George,
nuts, bro.
yeah, he went crazy. If that was me, I'd just be like, oh crap, oh
Shock.
dang, oh shucks, that's right. But that's who George Brett was.
Well, it's funny you say that because that intensity is what got him to that level.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with you. So should you change maybe your delivery, maybe not,
So then this is
because
further
that's
where,
you.
yeah, this is further where the thought brought me was the shepherd essentially had to tap into his lion to take down Goliath, right? Like you got to find that inner strength and the
Mhm.
timing because when I think shepherd, I kind of think of a little sap walking around, the plantation with a little like round stick,
A
that you
stick.
and just, doing a little whistle and like come on, like a little. But then you're realizing no, that perception is just coming from a movie that I saw when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, and even Goliath said, "What do you think I am, a dog? Why you bring me this stick to play with?" Like talking about his shepherd's crook.
Right.
But then his strength didn't come from him; it come from the Lord. That's the whole thing with David.
And that's
Because he was
that's
just a
right.
little dude. Like he was
Right.
the littlest of all of them,
Right.
and he was just like, "What in the world?" Like he's like berating our God. I'm not going to stand for it.
I'll die for it.
Yeah, 300. Oh, oh, oh. Let's
Amen.
go.
That's right.
And then he said today or Sunday in church, and I reading this too. David went and picked up 5 stones. He just used one, but then Goliath had 4 brothers. He didn't
Oh,
really know if his brothers may be coming too, because he's ready to take them out.
come on.
Yeah,
I never heard that.
that's
That's the Bible?
yeah.
How did
But
I miss
you start reading and go, huh, crap, that's wild. He's ready to take them all down.
that? Yeah.
You
So to
know.
think about our offices, like we have to be shepherds
Hmm.
in our office.
Yeah.
It's funny, especially when you're seeing a lot of people, all the different situations and things that are popping up and showing up by the second.
Hmm.
I always said, like, because, I've got the open adjusting, then our exam rooms and our intense cases will go in a room, and you could be having a lot of fun listening to music, adjusting on the floor, and walk in room one. It's someone who just came out of a psychiatric hospital who just tried committing suicide 3 weeks ago. And then you got to handle that and then turn around and walk back out on the floor with a smile.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's shifting gears all day long.
Right. But
Shifting
for
gears.
me personally, like we just put this amazing quote up on the wall. I had a young girl. What a sweetheart she was. She put in so much effort, man. It was the first time she's done a mural on the wall. And it says, God made you powerful, wake up and be awesome.
Mhm.
And I had that blank wall for a long time. And then one day that hit me. I'm like, if people just realize how awesome they are and powerful they are, like if you
Yeah.
read about David, where that same source of strength that was inside of him is inside every single one of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and just surrendering to that is, is the first step. You got to surrender to that. But then, he was out there, um, shepherding, practicing with his little slingshot, practicing, hitting Coke cans, if there were Coke cans, whatever he was practicing.
Yeah.
Um, there was a lot of time to think, a lot of time alone, a lot of times with the sheep.
Right. Right.
It's but it is like talking about shifting gears. It was a while back. There was a woman in the office, and we're semi-open. We have a little T-wall, but she had lost a baby, and then there was a woman coming in there, like first time with her baby, 2 or 3 days old, and it's just like, oh, like you want to try to um, not manipulate that situation, but you want to take care of the one that lost their child, miscarried, and then you want to make sure you honor the one that's bringing their baby to you. But then later, the one that lost the child was like, that did me so good to be there with that baby.
Yeah.
Like we can't try to fix it for people.
No.
We just have to be there, love them, um, touch them, hold them. That's all right.
You just got to be a source and a conduit of love for them and healing.
Yeah,
You know, healing.
yeah,
There's nothing tougher to heal from than the loss of a child. That's for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and we want to be that place. I know your office does too, and I think we are, where people having bad days, they come in and they just want to sit down and talk and cry, and us put our arms around them, pray with them, whatever they need,
Yeah.
just let them be there. And young woman other day was having struggles with, she's going to have surgery, and worried about some stuff at home, and we just sat with her. People were packing up. It was backing up in the office, but it was okay. It don't
Yeah.
matter. People understand. And then when we finished and we getting back with shifting gears again, like, hey, everybody, let's get you adjusted. Um, Everybody out in the office kind of surrounded her too and was giving her hugs because they heard what we were talking to her about, and I'm just thankful. I'm getting chills, man. I'm just thankful that it's a place of true healing, just like
Right.
your office is too.
Well, and we could have, like last week we were on the phone with Eddie and Brian, and I'm really enjoying those conversations. We're having a good
Oh
time with
gosh,
that,
that's
but
so crazy.
it's like you never know what's going to come out of those. But you could walk into any of their offices, and then we've got DE coming up in April here, and you walk in that room, and we could walk into 100 of those offices and have that same feeling.
Yeah,
And that's what happens when you build the right flock of people and it's like-minded. And we've had mentors and leaders that have shepherded us. We talk about Dr. Sid all the time. We've been so fortunate. One of a patient came in today and asked one of our asked our associate doc, how you doing? He said, near perfect. She said, oh my God, you guys all say the same thing.
yeah,
And it's amazing because I didn't teach him that. He learned that by coming to DE and hearing everybody else, how you doing? Near perfect, because that's what Dr.
you're
Sid would
perfect.
always say. And it
Hmm.
was funny to see that experience, watching that.
Yeah, I mean, we never know how far-reaching something we say, think, or do affects the lives of millions tomorrow.
Amen.
And that's something that's affected us. Just like work is fun, I love to work. How you doing? You're perfect. You're
Right.
better.
Right.
So many things that just, how you doing? And I'll say, how you doing? And I even change my voice subconsciously, like Dr. Sid.
Oh, you do it all the time.
Yeah, but it's not even, I don't even think about it. I even do it to patients, like, how you doing? They're like, why are you talking that way? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a state of mind.
Yeah,
Just hearing
yeah,
you say it brings back so many memories.
yeah, like, look at that pie form. It's getting fleshy just thinking about it.
Ah,
Just thinking about it.
yeah, boy. How you doing, boy? I
That's
was
right.
Dr. Alex is getting married, and we were talking yesterday. So we got me, myself, Alex, and we have an intern here who's getting ready to graduate 2 weeks. Michael, great kids, man.
Hmm.
And we're talking about marriage, and I said one of the best marriage advice I ever got was from Dr. Sid. And I had gotten to know Sid pretty well through school, et cetera. So I had a good relationship with him. And so I went up to him and I said, what's the best marriage advice you could give me? And he grabbed my hand, and he punched me in the chest, and he said, never monkey with another monkey's monkey.
That's right.
Bro, the best marriage advice I've ever heard. And
It is.
they were thinking for a minute. And I said, never monkey with another monkey's monkey. And
That's
they were like,
it.
how'd he come up with that?
Yeah, that's Dr. Sid,
That's Dr. Sid right there.
just
Yeah.
I was talking, I mean, we talk about him every day. I was talking to a patient about him today, and he just said something. Hey, like, did you ever know that guy that was running Life University, Life College, that would always come on the television when I was homesick at my grandma's house, not playing, not going to school? Like, know him. He was like a grandpa to us.
Right.
He was our dude.
Yep.
Like, love Dr. Sid, love Dr. Nail. We still have Dr. Umber, thankfully.
Yep.
Like, he's a powerhouse. He's
Dr.
another
Humber,
shepherd.
he is the shepherd in its purest form, man.
Yeah,
He was now listen, I don't know if this is out of bounds, but I think he was the shepherd to Dr. Sid, and Dr.
yep.
Nell was obviously, but he was, he had talked about, I got Sierra texting me right now. My baby girl, uh, um, that he would get the call at midnight. Remember we did that long interview with him,
Yeah,
and he would get the call, meet me at the diner. I need to talk.
yeah,
Dr. Sid would just throw things out there, and I imagine Dr. Umar would be like, well, Sid, we may want to do this, we may not want to do that, but what a blessing. The coolest blessing is Dr. Umber has truly been honored for his leadership. Like our
yeah,
crew and DE has done an amazing job, I
yeah.
believe, making him feel really special because that's what he deserves. I mean, he is the ultimate gentleman. And you're right,
Oh
he's
yeah.
probably the proverbial shepherd. Geez, if there ever
Uh-huh.
was one.
There's so many people, not just in chiropractic, but just across
Yeah.
the state.
Well, when we went to Beth's funeral, which was rough, to see the amount
Hmm.
of people that gathered around that church and her influence on the church and just them as human beings was beautiful to see.
Yeah, and just so humble. They're not full of themselves, just humble, contrite, meek, and just a humble servant the whole time. The
Yep.
whole time I've known him, he's been
Yep.
a humble servant. And when I was in school, he had this is before all the accreditation stuff. He had a Oldsmobile Allura. You never saw those. It just looked like a big protractor
Wait,
thing.
did you say Oldsmobile?
Yeah, he had an Oldsmobile.
Okay. I got my New York year. Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, like a Buick, but
A
an
car.
Oldsmobile. He and he was up here going to Helen, and I seen him at the gas station. I'm like, that is Dr. Umber. That is the vice president of the school I'm at. I didn't really know him then. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
turning around. I'm going to go speak to him. So I
Right.
turned my car around. He was pumping gas. I'm like, hey, Dr. Umber. He's like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm good. I said, I'm a student at Life University. I appreciate all that you do. And then that relationship started right there.
Yeah.
And that I love that man. I'll call him sometimes just to talk to him.
So you think
Just
about the roles of shepherds. I mean, I think of obviously having kids, being a shepherd for them,
mhm,
and even saying shepherd. Like I don't feel like a shepherd, bro,
yeah. But you are.
but I am. I got to
Yeah.
work through that. I don't know. I got a
I mean,
compliment right now.
yeah, I
I do
mean, you just
I
got yeah.
identify as a shepherd or am I a shepherd? I like lion, but okay. A wolf. Listen, I got a tattoo of a wolf on my arm. What would a tattoo of a shepherd look like, bro? PP
I don't know.
Longstocking or something? Hey,
You
you know what? All right, here's what just dropped in on me as I sounded like an idiot right there. Jesus was the ultimate shepherd.
mhm,
Jesus didn't come as a lion, he came as a shepherd who sacrificed himself. Boom.
yeah, that's
Take
it.
that, Steve, you idiot. All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to deal
I
with
mean,
that. That's my emotional self coming out.
yeah, and like we can be both.
I like
Like,
that concept.
we can be both. Like you're a loving, just servant shepherd to your girls, to Cain, to your family, to your friends, loved ones. But then when it gets rough, oh shoot, the line comes out.
Yeah.
Line comes
Yeah.
out. And like I know one time you're shepherding me. This is early on. Um, it was maybe 2 weeks after my brother died. There was a thing going on up in New York City, and I forget. It was in some, not a gentleman's club, like a strip club. I mean, like some friars club thing, Manhattan. You like, come up here. I'm like, all right, I'll come up there. I landed. I'm like, all right, where are you at? And you had like car service for me. We rode to the city in a limousine, went to that. We sat outside to eat with Smat and some other people.
That's right.
And then I went back home that next day in a limousine to the airport. Like you knew there was pain there and you were shepherding that in, like looking after things.
You got one hell of a memory, bro. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was something, you know. That was what,
Yeah.
16 or so years ago.
Yeah. That
That's
was
a
a long
while. It
time ago.
don't seem that long ago, bro.
Time flies, my man.
It just don't seem that long ago. And talking about power, you start thinking, um, let me get my words right. So like people think if you go kill somebody, you create chaos. Oh, well, he's powerful. He took a life. But I think real strength and real power is when you could do that, but you don't, and you say, go live,
Yeah.
you know? Like
Yeah.
anybody can create chaos.
Ah,
Look at these school shooters and crap that they just creating chaos.
right.
Anybody can do that.
It's like a massive subluxation, man. Creates the ultimate
Yeah.
chaos in the body and creates poor decisions. I remember one time one of the greatest things you said was, "You want to see what subluxated people are doing? Watch the news."
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's it.
fact.
Hmm.
It's hard to tap into your powerful, nurturing, loving self when you're subluxated and disconnected. Your
Yeah.
atlas is subluxated, it throws off your entire chemistry in your body, and your body's disconnected.
Yeah. And let's say I get on my shoes one morning, I go outside, I get a pebble in my shoe, I go to work, take care of people all day. I got that little pebble in my shoe. By the time I get home, I'm just mad, pissed off, irritable, just hate the world. Everything's wrong. They take my shoe off, and there's just a little pebble that didn't even break the skin,
Mhm.
but it changed my whole attitude.
Right.
Now, think if that pebble was up on your brainstem,
Huh.
what's that going to do?
Yeah.
No
Or
wonder we got all the crap we have
450
going.
million nerve fibers in there.
Yeah,
So you think about the term the lion then and life. Ultimately, what are the biggest lions that you think people listening to this face in their life? Like what are the disconnects or the challenges that most people seem to be facing? And then who do they have surrounding them to tap into them? And then it resorts back to, who are the lambs in your life? Do you have the right people around you to nurture you? Like you and I have nurtured each other through our own stuff in our life, and our whole crew has. We're
mhm,
blessed to have that. I think sometimes I don't think we not take advantage of it, but I think we recognize what we do have as far as our crew. But
yeah.
I don't think a lot of people have that.
No, and they don't for sure. And I know that we know we can call on each other. That's the thing. Don't matter what it is, we can call each other, um, and lean on each other with it. I know people don't have that. Like
Right.
people just don't have people. And I think some of the lines in their life is addictions, whether that's um, drugs, alcohol, porn, whatever that addiction is that's got a hold of them that keeps them from being who they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you let some of that crap go, man, your life is going to blossom. I promise.
100%. You
You
know,
know, and you just got to find another, like, you're still going to be doing something. You just got to find something to do with your time. You know, instead of going out to the bar drinking, getting blinded drunk, I don't know, get into fishing, something.
fly fishing. We talked
Yeah.
about that on the porch last night was, finding out your drainers in your life, right? Which is a
Mhm.
lion, someone that's sucking your energy and just cut them loose. And that was the biggest question I got from people today was, how do I do that? I'm like, once you recognize what's stealing your joy, now you have a choice to make because that's a tough choice now that you know. Keep it around and let it keep draining you or cut it loose. So
Yep.
just distance yourself comfortably, so that means I'm not going out to the bar. I got a meeting to go to, and then get up
Mhm.
early and go fishing.
Yep.
Like replace that joy with a more powerful, engaging joy.
Yeah. And one that's cleaner and doesn't lead to self-harm. And I don't mean
Destruction.
self-harm as far as cutting yourself, but just self-harm, like this is not good for my life, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And forgiveness. We were talking today at lunch that um, a girl was dealing with forgiving her mom for a lot of bad stuff. And, once she decided to forgive her, she started healing. And forgiveness is not like that, right?
Right.
It may take months and years for that forgiveness to take place, but you got to start that forgiveness. And now, um, Dr. Claudia talking about in the video, it was like an Instagram video, I think, that her and her mom are super close now. Um, they do things together, they love on each other, but it used not to be that way.
Right.
But that forgiveness is important, you know.
You know, I think moms and dads get blamed for a lot of lack of success in their kids' lives, and kids carry that into their 40s and 50s and keep blaming mom and dad. And
Mhm.
I think we all, not all, I'll speak for myself, went through a phase where I would look back and not poor me, but you're angry at them. Then I
Yeah.
realized they were doing the best they could.
Hmm.
They were reflecting the relationships they had with their parents and their grandparents, and they were taught a way. And then that reflected on your life as a child. They were doing
Hmm.
the best they could. So when you could come
Yeah.
to a place and say, okay, what didn't you like? Now, don't duplicate that in your own life and relationship and being a parent and change it into what you would rather have. And now that's
Hmm.
going to reflect onto your children. Um, there's a thing that I've been studying called mirror neurons. Mirror neurons.
Hmm.
And the neurons in our brain that are developed by what we're seeing and watching growing up and what we're programming to learn that we think is the norm. It becomes our story. But you could change all that. So then when
Yeah.
you always hear, just forgive your parents, let it go. That has to
Hmm.
happen.
Yeah.
They were being the best shepherds they could. And they may have drank too much, at least in my experience, right? Because they had their own pain that they were dealing with, which will destroy a family. But it's
Yeah.
not their fault. They did the best they could. They just didn't have the proper shepherd around them to guide them and lead them and say, stop, you're being destructive.
Yeah.
Right? In
Yeah.
our world, it's like you're having a tough day, you go get adjusted. How's your atlas? You're having a great day. I got to get checked this week. I want to make sure my atlas is good. Why? Because
Yeah.
that's going to set my standard of my emotions and my physiology for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month.
Hmm.
So I could be a better human being, a better me. When that becomes
Yeah.
people's standards, they're going to surround themselves with people that are fueling that physiology towards
Yeah.
greatness.
Yeah. And just writing down, journaling, like what's going on with you, like how are you feeling inside. You look back on that later, you're like, shoot, I come through that. Like what did I do then? And then it gives you methods to heal, gives you methods to forgive because you know it just perpetuates that generational trauma.
Yeah.
it just keeps going, and it's either going to stop with us or it's not,
Mm. Well,
and
you gotta
even,
end the curse in your own life.
yeah, and not pass it on to the people around you.
Well, think about one of the worst days of your life, losing your brother,
Hmm.
and how you've remained an amazing, great man. Like you could have gotten dark and gone down a dark road because of that pain that you'll carry for the rest of your life,
Hmm.
right? But being the
Yeah.
ultimate shepherd, you knew where to find your healing, which
Hmm.
comes through your faith,
Hmm.
which motivates you to carry on and still try to lose yourself in service and help more people.
Yeah, because it's not just about how we feel. Like it doesn't matter how we feel. We're on this earth to do a job and to love people and be an example. That's what I want to do. We're talking about purpose. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. I want to live my life with purpose. I want people to know my purpose. I want people to know where my strength is and live my life, you know.
Yeah. Dude, that was a brilliant statement right there.
It's but that don't mean that we have easy days every day either,
Oh,
you
nope.
know.
There's always a storm coming.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody asked a while back. They're like, "Hey, you ever cry over your brother?" I'm like, "About every dang day." Whether it's a song or a memory or something, who knows?
Yeah.
Something that's just like, oh gosh, you know. I remember when we used to go down that road and like turn donuts in the car, and like that time we jumped the escort.
I had Jamie in the car. I picked her up from school the other day, and she was talking about my brother Ronnie. So we gave him a call. He's on speakerphone, and it never fails, bro. Every time I talk to him, I just cry.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. And here's my baby girl just looking at me like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I just love him.
yeah,
I wish things could be different." But she's having this conversation with him, bro. Oh, it was so awesome.
oh yeah,
And he's asking her questions about school, and she's just talking to him, and it's just one of those things. And it's like you got to turn that into positive energy. And how can I help more people avoid that kind of situation?
yeah, yeah, and help people around us that are in that same place and learn from our pain, pass on what we're doing to them. So maybe it'll help them,
Yeah.
um, and just love on them. I know sometimes I have dreams about my brother. People are like, "You okay?" I tell just a handful of people about him. They're like, "You all right?" I'm like, "No, shoot, I'm good." It's like a visit.
Uh,
It's a visit. It's all right.
oh, I like the way you put that, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good day.
It's a visit. So now
Yeah.
people that are listening and they want to now say, okay, how do I embrace this shepherd role? Because I know people want how to, right? They got their lines in their life. They can recognize things that they got to control, which we never fully have control as humans. How can they recognize and embrace their shepherd role?
Um, I think one is leadership. You got to have leadership. You got to have discipline. You can't be doing everything you want and then like, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, they practiced their free throws.
Yeah.
They were disciplined. You gotta practice for when it hits the fan, you're good to go. It's and that leadership can be in home, it can be in business, it can be um around your friends. It doesn't mean that you're just like ruling with an iron fist.
Right.
It's different kind of leadership than what you may see on the internet.
Right.
You can like Dr. Umber is a great leader, but he does it with gentleness.
100% he does.
Like if he called us and asked us to do something, we'd say, "Yes, sir, whatever you
Oh,
need."
yeah. No doubt. No doubt. That guy's a visionary and he works with purpose and he listens to the voice within. That's for sure.
Yeah. And just losing yourself in service, I think, is huge for that shepherd, because that's what a shepherd, he's just serving those sheep. He's whatever he's shepherding, he's serving them. He's putting himself on the line to take care of that flock.
Right.
And it at full circle back to lasting purpose. Giving, loving, serving, doing out of your own abundance with no expectation of return.
One of the biggest things that's worked for me through the years is how I start my morning out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through this little thing now where I do the rosary every morning, right? I was raised Irish Catholic. I got away from the Catholic Church. I'm Christian. And then Matt
Mm-hmm.
Albert, who we did a special with, he had mentioned, hey,
Yep.
do you do the rosary? And then I literally have a story where the Blessed Mother came and visited me one night when I was a little kid, and I saw her, and he knew that. So he's like, you should be doing the rosary. And then Ed Gigliotti's like, you should be doing the rosary. And next thing I know, a set of rosaries show up at my house. So I don't want it to be a religious ritual, but other than a moment to connect.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I have nothing to ask for other than what do you want me to do and help me help more of your people, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
is. Like, who
Yeah.
am I to dictate what I think that is? Or
Mm-hmm.
I want to be at a certain volume in my practice, which is how my mind always works. Like, how many people am I seeing? I've been doing this long enough that say, God, let's just get out there and serve to the best of our ability and love people as much as we can and set them free. And hopefully they'll connect to you on a higher level. I think ultimately that to me would be the coolest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. We want people to connect to the creator. There's only one. We want people to connect to that. And I know that if they're more clear, they have a better chance of doing that. Because when you're on methamphetamines, you're not getting connected.
Yeah.
You're on opioids, you're not connected. Like you're in that state. But if we keep people clear, we keep people um, their brainstem clear, their nervous system clear, they're gonna know innately more of what they need to do. They just are.
Comes with that quiet, humbling strength that you're trained for the war, the battle, the stress. So when it hits, you can adapt and be present and protect
Mhm.
yourself and those around you. But then it's
Yeah,
also sustaining that peace along the way. I
yeah.
always find myself using the word peace in the morning. Like I just want peace.
Hmm.
I just want peace.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have problems in my life. My family's awesome. Sometimes it comes from now what I'm realizing these other lions that are trying to come in and eat
Hmm.
off my stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want to be a
Mm.
shepherd, bring amazing people around, and then I want to teach the lambs how to become a shepherd, and then how to
Mhm.
tap into if you've got to have that lion heart as
Yeah.
a shepherd, then you could do that. To me,
Yeah.
that's
And be ready to fight when you need to.
yeah,
Like have your stones in your pocket and a sling beside you to fight when you got to.
that's right. But when your Goliath comes, you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. It's man,
I think a
I'm
good challenge for people listening to this is to reflect on this, and I guess on the YouTube channel they could ask questions or comments or what do they think or they,
Mhm.
where they're at with this whole conversation. What are the lines in their life and what are things going on and how they're gonna face them. So reflect on, how we could be better shepherds. What are the lines in our life? And are you leading as a lion or are you leading as a shepherd? What's your walk in
Yeah.
life? Because I feel even saying that, am I leading as a lion could really drain you and tire you out.
Yeah.
I know that's happened to me in the past where I think
Mhm.
becoming, a more mature leader, which is now to me speaking as the shepherd role, is more peaceful and powerful.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And it goes back to just like the peace. Like I've said 1,000 times, a lot of times I'm not happy, but I've got joy that nobody can touch. And I've got peace like inside of me that's unshakable. Having that peace and joy, man, that's if people can get that, man, their life will change dramatically.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's not because you got the boat. It nothing to do with the boat or car, anything. It's that inside peace and joy. Like, man, wherever I'm going to be, I'm gonna have some joy about me.
It's not about the stuff. We just got rid of our old bed, right? Got rid of our bed that we had here in Connecticut. I mean, this thing was like the king's bed, bro. It had like the big wood posts and everything. And, we sold it to a guy. And I realized he never paid us in full for it until recently, right? Well, I just got paid in full. Then we had another bed that, now we're in Florida. Tammy had this giant wicker thing that weighed 1,000 pounds. And some dude pulled up the other day and, I'm like, it's easier for him to take it away from me than try to nickel a dime. Tammy's like, well,
Yeah.
this is how much it costs, but this is how much I got it for. And I'm like, but good. He's going to pay me to take this shit away from me. I don't need it in my
That's right.
garage. I don't need it in my garage. So I'll take a couple $100, but him and his son are putting it in their pickup truck, loading it up and just I want no stuff.
No,
Right?
no.
Take the stuff.
Yeah, and you don't have to deal with people keep calling like, hey, how about this? Would you do this? Can you meet me with it? Like, just get rid of the thing.
Take it.
It don't matter. Like
Yeah.
all this stuff that we think that matters don't matter. And then when we die, and then we stand before our creator and he's like, uh, how was your life? I know. And we're just like, well, look, you see my wicker bed? See my wicker bed? It's great. What do you think about it? See all my seashells I've been picking up? Look at my seashells.
They were at the beach the other day and we're getting ready to leave. Jamie's like, I have my niece with us and Jamie, and we took him to the beach and we're hanging out and, we're getting ready to go. And Tammy's like, you going to bring a book? I'm like, no, I'm doing nothing. I'm going to lay on that beach and just listen, do nothing. I want nothing.
Mhm.
And, so now it's time to leave. And she goes, well, hold on. I want to go look for shark teeth. I mean, like we've been here for 2.5 hours. You could have done that. Like we're packed up. She goes, well, give me a minute. So she went and looked for shark teeth. And a funny thing is, she said to me the other day, she goes, when are you going to have me on the podcast? And I
Oh,
was like,
Jamie.
no. Well, Jamie would be funny, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Tammy, my
Oh,
wife.
Tammy. Oh my gosh. That'd be
I'm
awesome.
like, ooh, baby, that could be a can of worms.
Oof.
But you talk about she's a shepherd. She's a
She
shepherd
is.
to me, bro. So
She is.
I
Like,
think we'll have you on there, like the moderator, and bring up some stuff. But that's
that'd
one
be
of the things,
awesome.
And then Eddie and Araceli, we'll get them on there together.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Brian and Rachel. That'd be
Then we get
awesome.
Brian and Rachel in there. I mean, we could have a whole spousal conversation and get this thing real deep.
Oh my gosh.
Relationships, man.
Yeah. That would be great. I
Yep.
swear, man, Tammy still makes me a little nervous.
Why?
Like, she like, hey, Drew. I'm like, yeah, yes, ma'am. What do you need? What can I do for you? Woo.
Oh
She
yeah.
does. I'm not playing.
Jamie's a mini Tammy, bro.
She is. She
Yep.
just like, man, we were at one of Sierra's soccer games and she cornered me and Claudia and she just asking all these questions.
Oh
Just
yeah.
like, hey, so how did you get here? Which car is yours? And I'm like, it's over there. And this is probably 3 years ago. So,
Yeah.
she was, I
10
don't
years
know
old.
what, yeah, just bang, 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 bang.
Oh yeah. What's that shirt you got her? Remember that
What
shirt
was that? Oh,
with
with the
like a
guy with the boy with the corn.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
She,
corn.
she was wearing that the other day and she goes, Drew got this for me. She
She's
remembers,
awesome.
man. The girl, and
She
she was
does.
younger when she got that from you.
Yeah, yeah. She's a little pistol, man. Just a pistol.
Well, I got an awesome weekend coming up, man. They're all going to be home. So
That's good.
I guess it's spring break. So Brooke heads home tomorrow. Sierra comes home Friday. Kylie's going to drive down. We're going to go to Jamie's. It's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait.
That's good, man. We
Can't
we
wait.
we need to get the flock together, don't we?
Well, that's when
I
you
know
really,
Tammy loves that too.
oh, bro, forget it. It's gonna be a good time, my man. It's gonna be a good time, and I'll put my Shepherd hat on for those babies and be cooking up a storm, and we'll just have a good time, my man.
That's
But
it.
we'll get Tammy's schedule. We're gonna get some relationship stuff going here, and we'll have you come up with some. I want you to come up with some hard questions. I want you to call me out and see how Steve behind closed doors, my man.
That's it. We're going to come up with stuff. And I'm not going to let you say the questions.
No, no, man.
Like nothing.
I got nothing to hide, my man. I mean, listen, married, shit, 23 years now.
Yeah.
No, 24 years. We'll be 25 years November. Yeah, because Kylie's 24. We had her right after our honeymoon. We got pregnant right after our honeymoon. But
Yeah. And not let you know the questions because you're transparent. We know that. But just so it's off the cuff, what's your answer?
yeah,
You
I
know,
like
like there's no thinking, like it's total innate coming from the inside out.
right, right. There's no other way, man.
Nope, there's not.
No other way. I did a podcast the other day, or like like a quick thing,
Hmm.
and I forgot to hit record. And it was like I had no notes, nothing. It just came to my mind, spit it out. It was awesome, good, boom. She was like, "You forgot to hit record." I said, "Well, what did I say?" She goes, "I don't know," and I didn't know what I said because it just came out raw, like boom,
Just came out.
and
Yeah.
it was good, man. But I have to wait for it to drop in again because not every day I write notes and prepare. It's just like let's go, let's go.
Well, good deal, man.
All right, my man. You know I love you. I'm looking forward to DE
Yeah,
coming
man.
in a couple
I
weeks in
can't wait.
April.
April
Clearwater,
10th through the
Florida.
13th.
Schedule's looking amazing, man.
It is. It is. It's going to be great.
You know what our problem is with DE? We got a big list of really good speakers.
Mhm.
That makes it challenging sometimes because sometimes people feel left out, but they're not left out. They're just part of the team and they got to take their role.
No, it's good just to rotate. Like everybody can't be a starter the whole game. Sometimes you just gotta go out, catch a breather, go back in the game.
Well said.
You know,
Well said. All right, my man. On that note, love and
that'll
appreciate it.
work. Yeah, man. Love y'all too.
All
We'll
right.
be seeing you in a couple of weeks.
All our listeners, wake up, be awesome. God bless you.
Yeah.